But we're going to go straight to our next session, and we're going to be touching on the CPG, consumer packaged goods space, things like food and beverage, healthcare products, makeup. And this has been one of the categories that actually performed better during the pandemic. But how have they kept up with digitalization? And here to tell us a little bit about it is Rashi Goel, who's Director of Marketing and Consumer Communication from Nestle India. And moderating this session will be ADA's Chief Operations Officer, Anurag Gupta. Over to you guys.
Thanks, Stephanie. A quick introduction to Rashi. Rashi and I know each other for 20 years. We met on a plane and we bonded over a creative brief, which I don't remember whether Rashi was writing or I was writing. I was an advertising guy and she was a brand manager in Unilever. And I wonder that in those 20 years which have passed, how marketing has changed. And I'm really, really excited to have Rashi here. Stephanie gave me a tough brief about getting a speaker who has regional experience and multi-brand experience. So Rashi has worked across the region and in India, worked across big brands in Unilever and Coke and Pepsi, and now she's heading marketing function in Nestle. And last but not the least, Rashi, a couple of weeks back, Rashi was just named brand and marketing leader for 2020 by Economic Times, which is India's #1 business newspaper, and Accenture. So over to you, Rashi. Very, very keen to hear your thoughts on digitalization of CPG. There were lots of questions even in the earlier sessions talking about CPG industry. And then I'll come back and help you answer some questions. Rashi.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Anurag, for this introduction. And as luck would have it, just as I'm coming up to speak, there is some construction activity that started outside. So if it gets a little disturbing, let me know and I'll speak louder. Thank you, ADA, for having me over, and really excited to share something from my experience with digital and what we are doing at Nestle over the next 20 minutes or so. So I want to start by saying that, CPG brands have put soap into soap opera. So if we really take a look back into history, when radio and television were new mediums of communication, it's CPG brands that took the lead and became the original producers of content. And in fact, P&G created the first soap opera for radio, which then traveled into television. So there is a respectable history in CPG around utilizing new mediums of communication. But I think it is rightly said that on digital, we are a little bit of laggards. What I'm doing today is really dispelling the myths that CPG is not leveraging digital the way it should. By sharing with you 5 case studies, 4 of them are very recent examples of how we have used digital creatively, purposefully, and by using audience insights. And the final case study is to showcase to you what the future looks like. But before I get into that, 2 foundational facts based on a BCG report, which really talks about how CPG consumers interact with digital. The first data point I have for you is, by latest count, there are about 750 million internet users in India, out of which BCG claims 450 million are digitally influenced. This is pre-COVID time, so during COVID, there has been a dramatic increase even in this number, but let's stay with this number for a brief period. The fact is that a lot of consumers who are buying CPG are influenced digitally. No brainer. Second fact is that consumers are looking for solutions, advice, help, and support online. And just looking at search data statistics bears this out, and we have done this for multiple categories of ours. So if the search volumes for a product like shampoo is 1x, the search volume for a hair fall solution is 7x. And then the search volume for a solution in hairstyling, which is very evolved beauty aspirational, is 32x. So suffice it to say, the consumers of CPG are looking for solutions online, therefore they are digitally influenced. So these two foundational facts form the basis of the 5 case studies I'm going to share with you. Next slide, please. So the first myth that all CPG marketers come across is that we are purchased offline. Why are you even investing online? And how we have resolved it is by holding hands with the consumer while she is being influenced in her purchase. Next slide, please. So the case study that I'm here to share with you is about Nangro. It is a premium growing up milk, which within 8 months became the market leader within the premium milk segment. How did Nangro do that? Nangro said, while all moms who are digitally savvy are our consumers, not all moms are the same. We looked at search data and we realized that moms are looking and searching and worrying about different things online. So one segment is looking at how well is my child growing? What kind of protein should I give? Another is saying, but is my child overweight? But what is the right growing up milk for my child? What about brain development because my child starts preschool? All of these search volumes were converted into multiple split audiences. We created multiple contextual creatives, some of which you can see here on the slide, and this catapulted the brand to becoming number one brand in premium segment. We got a 2x click-through rate and 40% increase in the time spent with Nangro creative content. Next slide, please. On the same myth, we are purchased offline, why invest in digital? The second case study is where we elevated the conversation for the consumer. So in the previous slide, Nangro really spoke to moms who were thinking about what to buy, worrying about what to buy. We influenced them so that whenever they're on the shop floor buying a product, all the different moms converge on Nangro. This is the opposite. We said all consumers are the same. They want different lovely food experiences, but all of them also look for Nestle products. So there is one consumer, but multiple Nestle products. What we did during the lockdown was we realized that consumers were reacting to cooking at home in 3 different ways. One set of consumers were looking for ideas. They just wanted to be inspired. The second set of consumers were looking for nutrition. They were the nutrition seekers. The third set of consumers were reluctant cooks. They were looking for convenience, quick, easy recipe ideas. We took the top 20 brands of Nestle, combined them, and created unique combo recipes. We probably took inspiration from the Coke marketing program where they combine Coke and popcorn and do a great job of it. We combined Milkmaid dessert with Maggi masala noodles. We combined Nescafe latte with Maggi masala noodles. We said, why don't you try our Greek yogurt with breakfast cereals? Why don't you have a cold coffee when you have a hot and savory meal from the house of Nestle? And these kinds of combos really supported the consumers in thinking through their next meal in a simple, convenient, delicious, and nutritious way. We were really surprised by the results. Versus all our campaigns put together, this had the highest CTR of 71.5%, and we managed to reach around 550 million consumers. Next slide, please. The second myth is digital has no scope for creativity. And I think this myth has been created by CPG marketeers and by advertising agencies who are used to creating large stories that address hopes, dreams, and aspirations of consumers. That works, but that can also be done on digital platforms, which inherently do not support long form content. So, how did we do that? Next slide, please. We partnered with YouTube. So, what we noticed was that during the lockdown, the recipe views on YouTube went up to about 1 billion a month. Nestle had to be a part of it. But how? We realized a lot of these views were coming from the top 160 food influencers who were cooking up a storm during the lockdown. So we partnered with them, we ran workshops with them, we inspired them with Maggi noodle recipes, which is almost a staple for comfort food in India. The creativity of YouTube influencers led them to create their own Maggi recipes, which YouTube distributed. We reached half the population of India, and very happy to say that the #1 food brand in India also became the #1 food brand on YouTube. So, what did we do? We, instead of changing the platform and pushing our creative views on them, we embraced the platform and took it for what it was already giving us, which was a network of influencers, micro influencers, who were engaged, creative, and had a large fan base. Next slide, please. Third myth, digital does not leverage deep human truths. Again, coming from the advertiser mindset where we love to talk about big purposeful campaigns. But what are deep human truths? Deep human truths reflect and activate in micro behaviors. And these micro behaviors are active on digital. What could we have done to leverage that? Next slide, please. What we did was we launched India's first food tech brand called Ask Nestle. This was based on the large human truth of moms, where they are looking, they actually have sleepless nights thinking about, is my child growing right? And they feel guilty. Am I feeding my child right? Is my child's height right for his or her age? But what about his, protein intake? Do I even know what I'm talking about? And the big insight was that there was lots of conflicting and confusing information that she was being subjected to. We took it upon Ask Nestle to create very sharp tools to support her in her journey. But before I talk to you about that, let's play this ad, and this will showcase to you what human truth we are talking about.
Banana leaf on a plate? Are we still monkeys or what?
Oi, respect. It's our tradition.
When the hot food touches the banana leaf, it releases polyphenols that are natural antioxidants, which are very good for our health. And banana leaf also makes our food tasty. This is our tradition.
You never told me all this.
Just now I learnt myself. Monkey.
पोषण को समझेंगे तभी तो अपनों को अच्छा खिला पाएंगे। इसीलिए आप भी आइए asknestle.in पर और पाइए पोषण से जुड़े किसी भी सवाल का जवाब। Nestle, good food, good life.
So, what this campaign did was it launched Ask Nestle into the market, informed moms that now there was a service brand available to them with a growth tracker, with a recipe diary, with a customized meal plan to their individual cuisine preferences, child's allergies, regional preferences, vegetarian, non-vegetarian preferences on the click of a button. That was addressing the deep human truth through nutrition science. What are these micro behaviors we talk about? What we did was we created multiple search intent based split audiences. Some people were looking for quick and easy recipes. Some were looking to cook with their children. Some wanted restaurant like food at home because delivery had stopped. a lot of people wanted expert advice on immunity. And what's more, because people could not visit the hospital or their pediatrician or their nutritionist, we started offering them expert connects online. So the good news is that this large human truth, supported by micro behaviors, almost doubled traffic. So until last year, we had got about 3.5 million visitors, but just within March to October, today we are standing at 7.5 million traffic, and 48% of the traffic is repeat, which is exactly what we wanted. We wanted to build a deep, engaging relationship with moms and support them in their nutrition journey. Next slide, please. This is my last and fourth myth, and it is true that data is of no use in CPG consumer journeys, or not as much of use as it is for a financial product or a travel product or an e-commerce product. It isn't. But could it be in the future, where more and more consumers will move online, more and more consumers want convenient shopping? So the last 4 case studies were about the today. This case study is about how we might start using Ask Nestle to build data flywheels to create more and more personalized consumer journeys for Nestle, analytics, and even NPD ideas. So let's take a look at how that will work. Little bit of an eye chart, but let me talk you through it from left to right. So Ask Nestle is also a data collector for Nestle India. It goes beyond good food to good data. On the extreme left, we are serving consumers personalized media. Consumers are reacting differently, coming to the site, looking at different things. Either they're reading articles, or they're speaking to experts, or there is a community, or they are looking at recipes, which, by the way, is the biggest pull. We collect first-party data, so we have a DMP. We analyze this and create new content, clean up the website user experience, and retarget these consumers through greater personalization. Hey, did you check out a chicken recipe? Why don't you try a fish recipe next time? Looking for protein? This is a high protein recipe. So very, very personalized notifications and media. But then, like I said, all mothers are different, but all our products talk to mothers. So we now have first-party data of parents, and we can then start targeting them with all of our other brands that are targeting mothers. We collect more data, and this leads to analytics-based actions. We can understand what moms are looking for in nutrition. We can write white papers. We can create NPD products. So, for instance, the first week when Ask Nestle launched, we got a query from a mother in Delhi NCR, which is full of global consumers. And she said, but where are your vegan recipes? So it's a very, very small movement, but there are people who are asking for vegan. We immediately started thinking about how might Nestle at large start addressing these consumers. So these are the kinds of insights that we hope will come more and more from this Ask Nestle product. And with that said, I'm happy to take questions along with Anurag, and I hope this has given you good examples of how CPG can start using digital. Thank you.
Thank you, Rashi. That was great. Lots of questions pouring in. So, and we don't have too much of time. So let me start. What are some of the changes which you see in evaluation metrics for digital campaigns, at least in India?
So this continues to be an area which is quite fuzzy, because each digital platform gives their own metrics. But the rule of thumb that we apply is, because at the end of the day, we are large scale brands, and consumers are digitally influenced. We do look at digital as a reach and frequency channel for our large brands. Okay, so the reach frequency numbers from each channel work for us there. But if we have niche brands with niche objectives, then we look at engagement metrics.
But do you, in the end, correlate digital spends to whatever you did, innovations you did, how it impacted sales?
So what we are able to do is we are setting up online panels. And through that, we can measure brand equity. But measuring offline sales and creating a logical linkage right now is impossible.
Okay. And I don't think that in India is still, your categories are still very big on e-commerce. So that's something which is evolving, and it'll happen over time, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, the other question is, how do you match online and offline behavior in CPG?
That's a very interesting question. So what we do is, I think it's really, like I said, deep human truths and micro behaviors. So there are deep human truths which say, I want to eat great tasting, nutritious food. There is no getting away from that, right? But what does it manifest itself as in audience? So we've started thinking in terms of large human consumer insights and audience insights. So digital becomes then a microcosm of behaviors that we can target and read and target and retarget. And our offline advertising becomes a cultural brand building medium.
Okay, so I think that there was another linked question which got answered by that. I have one last question, and it is because there were lots of questions which were flowing around that, oh, it is very difficult to digitize FMCG, and FMCG is one category, or CPG is one category which sucks in the maximum amount of advertising dollars, right? Overall, so if given what is changing now, if you were to design a marketing services on an agency from grounds up, what will be your wish list? And having worked with, I guess, the best agencies in the region, and currently also working with some of the great names in the region, what will be your wish list for an agency partner?
So the first truth of the agency network is that, like, not all moms are the same. Not all agencies have the same strengths. So the first rule that I've started believing in is that I think we need to have a committee is the wrong word, a team of agencies with very, very different strengths, because the marketing activation has become fragmented. I would rather have agencies that are specialists, but I would want one agency in the middle to coordinate all of this. And when I say one agency in the middle to coordinate all of this, I'm saying a co-pilot. Somebody who, because in FMCG, people still don't understand digital completely. It's a change management process. So who can partner the CMO, the marketing manager, as a thought leader who really understands everything about the business, everything about offline, and everything about digital, or understands enough to ask the right questions and guide the marketing manager, and pull together all the other agency ecosystem. I think that would be ideal, rather than saying, I want one monolith that does everything. I don't think that's practical in today's day and age.
Okay, that was very, very interesting and insightful, Rashi. Steph, I think that we are out of time now. So Rashi, thank you so much for making time. I know you have a very, very busy schedule, running such a large marketing operation in India. Thank you for making time for us. And Rashi is writing a book on marketing, and that is why one of the reasons I chose her, because apart from being a professional, she's also a thinker about marketing. So looking forward to your book, Rashi. Whenever it is released, I would love to get the first copy. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Anurag. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Thanks so much, Rashi and Anurag. I'm looking forward to that book. And I just love that video Rashi shared. I'm a huge fan of Indian food. And now I know there's actually a scientific and healthy reason to eat it on banana leaf. Great, more reason to eat more.